Oh, U.S.-Iran tentative ceasefire deal reached. Awaiting Trump's sign-off. Are you telling me there's a ceasefire? U.S.-Iran ceasefire. Is the U.S. The first one. Is it over? U.S. strikes put ceasefire on edge 2 days ago. U.S.-Iran ceasefire deal pending approval from Donald Trump. 6 hours. This is what it's talking about. This is Sky News
We start
Australia.
off with the US this morning because officials in Washington say the US and Iran have reached a tentative agreement to reopen the Strait of Hormuz and extend a ceasefire by 60 days. But
open the Strait of Hormuz, extend the ceasefire. This is not a peace deal.
all of that hinges on the pending approval from President Donald Trump. If the US president signs off on the memorandum, the Strait of Hormuz will reopen. Iran will clear any mines from the water.
I mean, like, we've heard the Strait of Hormuz will open over and over and over again, and yet it's not open.
Away within 30 days, and the two nations will enter nuclear talks. US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent hosted the White House press briefing this morning. It was his turn today, and claims Donald Trump maintains the same red lines for any negotiation.
The teams have been going back and forth, and President Trump has made it very clear, he talked about it at the cabinet meeting, that he has several red lines, and Iran has to turn over
No nukes.
their highly enriched uranium. They cannot.
Oh, they're going. They can't keep the uranium as well. I guess that makes sense if they've enriched it to 60%. You can't really let them have it. If they're like, oh, we're not going to go for a nukes, but we'll keep our enriched uranium. That's not how it works.
And the Strait of Hormuz, back to your question on energy, has to free transit. Navigation of the seas has to be free and open as it was before. So he's not going to take a bad deal. He's going to make a great deal for the American people.
Free, well, being one of the operative words there, so no taxes it would seem. Well, the apparent breakthrough in negotiations coincides with Iran targeting an American airbase in the Middle East in retaliation for strikes launched by the US on Iran yesterday.
So they're still shooting at each other. We'll talking about a peace deal. That seems a little counterintuitive, counterproductive, but you know.
Mark Stone has more now from
I mean, whatever leads to peace.
DC over this.
We've been here before. There have been moments where there has been a suggestion that a breakthrough was about to come, as recently as last weekend, but it never happened. This time things look perhaps a little different, but don't be under any illusions. This isn't a breakthrough which would solve all the problems which led President Trump to launch this conflict. Not at all. All this is a deal. I say all. I mean, it is significant. There's no doubt about that. But it is a deal which provides space, 60 days, provides a bit of paper, a memorandum of understanding, and crucially.
I mean, like, if it opens the Strait of Hormuz, that is like the key thing the U.S. needs now, right? Like, they can keep this whole war, but in a peace treaty thing, going for almost forever, as long as the Strait of Hormuz opens. As long as the Strait of Hormuz opens, then you can maintain the current status quo basically indefinitely. The issue is the effects this has on the global on the oil market. And I'm gonna close that one. But as you can see, like, people definitely like the peace talks, right? But you can see that this has happened before. And then it went back up. And then it happened again. And then it went back up. And now it's happening again. Will this get us to something more stable? I hope so. I saved that. I can click. Closed.
Gets both sides back together at a negotiating table to be able to discuss the more thorny issues like the nuclear issue. But what it also does, if President Trump and clearly the leadership in Iran as well, if they sign up to what has been agreed, it seems, at a slightly lower level, and they sign up to this memorandum of understanding, then crucially it means that the Strait of Hormuz, which has become the central challenge of all this, that would be opened up. The movement of vessels would be unrestricted, which clearly...
So, Iran has agreed to this. And it's just waiting Trump's approval?
For economies right around the world, that is a really important move. But of course, kind of a side issue, but really important to point out, for vessels and the companies that operate them and the insurance companies that insure them, they need to be comfortable and have confidence that ships can move freely back and forth. So that will take a little bit of time, but this is certainly a step in the right direction.
Like, they, if they get the Strait of Hormuz open, then they can take as long as they want talking about nuclear stuff. Because it sounds like the nuclear issue is what's holding up continued negotiation. But if you open the Strait of Hormuz, then you can spend forever talking about the nuclear stuff. As long as they're not actively building a bomb, they'll eventually come to some kind of conclusion there. But this is again, we have seen this song and dance before. We have seen it before. But if the Strait of Hormuz opens, I expect this will drop down to something far more reasonable. Going on for a couple months now. Hopefully we can end the oil shock, which would be really nice. With each passing day, Iranian and U.S. officials are raising their demands. Hostilities are flaring between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon. Yeah, I heard that part of the conflict is still raging, and civilians are being killed, raising the stakes of tenuous negotiations. Global oil prices, the Strait of Hormuz, and the November midterm elections are all hanging in the balance. So then, because last time they agreed to open the Strait of Hormuz, there was they agreed to open the Strait of Hormuz, and then there was like a radical group within Iran that was like, no, well, we are going to continue shooting rockets at anyone who tries to go through. So then is this different? Have they got like a consensus? Last time Iran stated that they would open the Strait of Hormuz, they then closed it immediately. This was, from my understanding, because there wasn't a consensus within the country. For the current ceasefire deal, is there now a consensus within Iran to open the Strait of Hormuz? You know what? I'm not even gonna edit it. There was some ums and ahs, but we'll just see how it does. Okay, we're at global and international stuff. Great question. Let me search for the latest on Iran internal political dynamics around the Strait of Hormuz. See, I like odd. ChatGPT give me a biased answer. Let me see. Did Anthropic post a positive quarter? Let's see. As of mid... I remember hearing this in passing. No, stop freaking out. Projected first core profitable quarter, Anthropic has told investors that it expects to post its first operational profit in Q2 2026. Don't we see Q2? I guess not. Yeah. With revenue forecast to be more than double from around 4.8 billion in Q1 to about 10.9 billion. Holy. That more than doubled in a quarter? What is that? And roughly 559 million in operating profit if target holds. I mean, this represents a very strong quarter-over-quarter increase, and when paired with profitability would be a meaningful milestone for the company. Like, this would be the first time that we're seeing an AI company posting profit. Like, very meaningful. Doubling in a quarter is insane growth. Just terrifying growth for a company. However, these numbers are internal projections shared with investors in the context of a funding round. So they're incentivized to massage this data a little bit because this is being given to investors in the context of a funding round, not publicly audited financial statements. Revenue momentum. Several reports estimate that Anthropic's annualized run rate return has surged rapidly in the tens of billions. It is driven by enterprise adoption of cloud products and strong growth in build uses. Like, Anthropic's growth is insane. Now, things don't grow forever, right? You look at Facebook, once it's spread, it's only gonna adopt, like, only so many people are gonna adopt it. There's only so many people to adopt it. Anthropic is providing a service mostly to businesses. There's only so many businesses, and there's only so many businesses compatible with AI to adopt it. There is a limit on the growth, but the rate of growth is staggering. Did Anthropic post a positive quarter? The company is expected to have its first profitable quarter based on internal projections shared with investors. Yet these figures are not audited. Okay, so it hasn't posted a profitable. Great question. Oh, that's a lot of data. Can I just read the end? Here we go. This is a really well-informed question. The research confirms your instinct exactly. Here's what's actually happening inside Iran. The short answer, no, there is still no genuine consensus. And this is the core reason the strait remains effectively closed despite multiple agreements to open it. Okay. So they're saying they're opening the Strait of Iran. I mean, the Strait of Hormuz. There's no consensus within Iran to actually do that. So this could just be like the past opening the Strait of Hormuz, where Trump, okay, he signs it. The strait doesn't open. Maybe a ship gets shot at, and then Trump blames Iran for not following the ceasefire, and then Iran goes, but there's a war in Lebanon, and the peace was supposed to include the war in Lebanon. And then we're right back to where we are in the forever war. So let's continue. Here's the breakdown of internal fractures. The new supreme leader. The new supreme leader is the problem. Iran's new supreme leader We're getting that one right.
Mojtaba Khamenei.
Mojtaba Khamenei. Mojtaba. I just heard it.
Mojtaba Khamenei.
Mojtaba Khamenei. His first message called for continued military resistance and said the Strait of Hormuz should remain a tool of pressure. He has not appeared in public since being named. There are even questions about his health and whereabouts, but hardline factions are using his authority as cover. I mean, like, they don't even know if he's alive. You haven't seen anything from him. You can post a video without giving away your position. If he was alive, you think you'd see something, right? The foreign ministers versus the hardliners. There is explicit dispute within Iran on reopening the strait. On April 17th, Iran's foreign minister said following the Lebanon ceasefire agreement, all commercial vessels would be allowed through the strait for the duration of the ceasefire, but when he declared the strait open for commercial shipping, he came under fire from the regime supporters who accused him of preemptively handing Trump an opportunity to declare victory. The IRGC is operating independently. The banner on Tehran streets. This is the most vivid illustration of the problem. Only days before the ceasefire was announced, Islamic Republic hardliners running the city of Tehran put up a gigantic banner at one of the busiest intersections in the capital reading, "The Strait of Hormuz will remain closed," meaning to signify an edict that the new supreme leader, who has not been seen in public. Why the moderates are gaining but haven't won. Even among the hardliners, it was becoming clear that a way out had to be found before Iran's critical infrastructure was further destroyed. More than 3,000 people have been killed, and even the hardline Chief Justice told state TV that Iran was seeking an end to the war. I mean, that's a start, right? It shows that the pressure that Trump's put on them is working. Even though hardliners are seeking an end to the war, but seeking an end and opening the strait unconditionally are very different things. The structural problem for any deal, the foreign minister can negotiate, but the IRGC controls the boats. So when you saw the strait open and then immediately close again, you were watching exactly this dynamic in real time. Until the IRGC and the Supreme Leader office are genuinely aligned with the foreign minister's negotiation position, any ceasefire deal on the strait is likely to face the same problem. The tentative 60-day deal being discussed today has the same structural vulnerabilities. There's no enforcement mechanism on Iran's side that can override the guards. So, like, I don't know. It's happened before. And it looks like even if Trump signed it, there's a good chance that if a ship tries to go through, it'll be shot.